My husband and I had to go to Panama City yesterday. We had to go pick up his car after it got PPF'd or whatever you call it. And it was super stormy, right? I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the weather, which I'm sure a lot of you have, because a lot of places have flooded. Weirdly, they're calling it biblical flooding at this point because there's been so many like catastrophic floods in such a short amount of time. Literally the last 30 days, the amount of floods there have been has been absolutely ridiculous. We've seen Texas, we've seen New Jersey, we've seen New York, I think Oklahoma. There's a couple other states that have had a lot of issues, and now Florida's getting them. We actually are expecting a tropical storm to start within the next few hours and go for the next couple of days here where I live. So there's a lot of people out that are buying generators and stocking up on the food and the water and everything else. But either way, we went to Panama City yesterday, and the weather was fine when we left. It was perfectly fine. There was no issues. It was nice and sunny. And the farther we traveled, the darker it got. And I'll put a picture up over on X and in the community section here when this is all said and done, so you can see exactly what I was talking about, the calm before the storm. So we're driving into Panama City, and the sky is completely pitch black, right? And I'm like, all right, well, this'll be interesting. So we're on the way to go get his car, and there's tons of rain. It's already started raining. There's traffic lights that are out, everything else. Well, we're headed back, and I am driving my car, and my husband is in his, obviously, because I took him to pick up his car. So we're driving back, and once again, it's absolutely pouring, right? And the lights are out, and we're going, and I'm paying attention to everything around me because I don't like driving in the rain to begin with. I know a lot of people don't like to drive in the rain, especially when it's dark, especially when the lights are out. People don't know how to use the four-way flashing lights. There's no cops anywhere to be seen to direct traffic, and it's just, I mean, it's a serious cluster because it's also around 5 o'clock on a, what was yesterday? On a Tuesday. Yesterday was Tuesday. So there's rush hour traffic, people getting off work. Then you have the storm, you have the no lights, you have the whatever. And we're driving along, and I don't know why I see the things that I see or why I notice the things that I notice, but it's 2 lanes of traffic where we're at, and then there's one of those, like if you had turned off a side street and you're in that little merge lane that merges into the 2 lanes, right? So there's this minivan that's right at the end of this little merge thing. No flashers on, nothing like that, but the lights are on the vehicle, and it's got a white and red tag on it with the handicap sign on it in red. So I don't know what differentiates between a white and red tag or whatever else. I guess maybe you can just pick certain ones, or maybe a handicap tag, depending on how it looks, tells responders and people kind of what the handicap may be. If y'all know, for like, if anybody has a handicap license plate and you know why there would be a difference in visually how it looks, maybe it's just a state to state thing, please let me know, because I forgot to look it up before we had this conversation. But either way, I don't know why, but for some reason, I noticed the minivan. It's this tan minivan. It's an older, like a Sienna or whatever it's called. I think it's a Toyota. Older tan minivan. And I just happened to be going by it as it's pouring down rain. And I look over, and I know what got me. And it's one of those, I just did my makeup, so I'm not going to cry at this. But it's one of those things where when I looked right, all I saw was the hair of the woman. And it was white puffy hair. Whew. Hold on. No. It was white puffy hair, and it immediately reminded me of my Nana, because that's how her hair used to look. Nope, but come on now. Whew. I mean, it's been almost 11 years. It's been 11 years. Today is 11 years. Okay, so that may be why I am the emotional basket case that I am. This makes way more sense today. Mentally, I guess I knew, but I was trying to, like, subconsciously not think about it. So I see this woman with hair like my Nana's, and it looks like she is slumped over the steering wheel, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what do you do? And immediately my heart starts racing, everything else, because all I can think is I recognize that there was a handicap tag on the back. It is pouring down rain. The hair, because it reminds me of my Nana, already I'm thinking this is an older, smaller woman who may be having health issues or whatever else. We're working through the last of it here. I'm not going to cry. We're good. I think I've made it. I think we're okay. So, I noticed the hair, and pretend this is the steering wheel. This is what it looked like this, right? Like, I couldn't see a face or anything else, but I could see the hair, and I could tell it's either like the back side of this person's head. And I started thinking about how the last time I saw something like that was probably about 1.5 years ago. My husband and I actually talked about it after it happened. I was pulling out in where we live, and I was pulling out, and across the street I saw a car that was pulled over, and there was a woman with her head like this on the steering wheel. So her forehead was on the steering wheel. And I was like, holy crap, right? So I pulled back into the parking lot I was in, and I called the police, and I was like, hey, listen, I don't know what's going on here, but there's a lady across the street from me that has her head on the steering wheel. But while I'm on the phone with the cop, she leans up, and I'm like, okay, never mind, I apologize, it's my fault, she moved finally, I'm guessing she's okay. And they were like, no, we'll still send somebody out to check on her just in case. And I was like, cool. And I went about my day after they asked me for my name and phone number and whatever else, right? Because that's what 911 does. So yesterday, my brain goes, no, leave it alone, you don't need to call 911. But everything in me, it was that gut thing, everything in me was like, just call 911. It will not hurt anything. And if anything, it could help somebody, right? And I started thinking about the fact that like a lot of people these days just don't notice the things that are going on around them. I feel like we are all so in our own little world, our own little bubble, that we don't notice the things going on around us. But then the things we do notice going on around us are normally like really effed up things. And for some reason, instead of helping, a lot of times we pull out phones and record stuff. Like, you know, we talk about it all the time, and I've shown you stuff on X where people, instead of helping the person that's on fire, they're recording them. Instead of helping the person that's floating away downriver during a flood, they're recording them. Instead of stopping the fight, they're recording it. Instead of stopping the domestic abuse, they're recording it, things like that. So I'm sitting there, and all of this happens, obviously, everything goes through your mind in split seconds. And so I call 911. And I said, hey, listen, I don't know if this is a real emergency or not, but I was driving by, I was on 98, and I was passing, what is that name? McCovey? It was between Allison and McCovey. I don't remember the name of the road, but it's on 98 in Panama City, sorry. And so I call, and I'm like, this is what just happened. I passed this minivan. It's like a tan color. It's got the plate on the back, and then it looked like a woman slumped over the steering wheel. I can't get over to her. I can't do a U-turn to get back now that I've passed her because the lights are out. Traffic is horrible. Like I can't move or do anything. And I said, and it could be absolutely nothing. It could be somebody who was weary of the traffic and just hanging out. But there's something in me that feels like I needed to call you guys. And the guy was like, hold on, let me transfer you over to local PD. So I guess when you call 911, it's like a whole big thing, and then they send you to the correct people depending on what your emergency is. So he sends me over to local PD, and this female answers, and I said, hey, listen, I don't know if this is a huge deal or not, and I'd hate to be wrong and send a cop out there that could be used somewhere else, but at the same time, I would hate to not send a cop out there, and this woman, there is something medically wrong with her. So I explained what happened, and she's like, no worries, I got you, I'll send somebody over there, thank you so much, what's your name, what's your phone number? And when I got off the phone with her, my hands were shaking because I don't know why adrenaline does that. I don't know if it's because I immediately thought of my Nana, and so my whole body and mind and everything else kind of went haywire. So I just can't say Nana today. Got it. Please hold. We're okay. It's fine. So I don't know if it was that, if it was the situation of not being able to turn around and help or what, but adrenaline, so my hands are shaking and whatever else. So I sent my husband a message. I'm like, hey, I just had to call 911 on this woman because I'm not sure what was going on. And he was like, do we need to turn around? And then I saw the police lights, and I'm like, no, I see a cop like way back there. Hopefully he's going to her. So we didn't turn around, which bothers the crap out of me because today I'm like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if this woman is okay. I don't know if it was nothing. I don't know if, because the police, they're not going to call you back and be like, hey, ma'am, thanks for calling that in. By the way, she was dead, or by the way, she was just taking a nap because of traffic, or whatever else. I will never know. And I will constantly wonder what happened, if the woman's okay, if whatever else. But what I noticed when I hung up was on my phone, which I can't show you because that's what I'm recording with, but on my phone, I have a Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. I think that's the name of it. Whole big ass name there. What I remember, at the end, before I went to go text my husband, I saw on the top, it said that all blocked numbers will be disabled for the next 2 hours. Like, you couldn't have anything blocked. You had to have full open lines of communication on your phone for 2 hours. I'm guessing in case the police or the police department had to call you back. But then it also had location services turned on for emergency. So I'm like, does that mean that the police are now tracking where I am to see where I'm calling from? Maybe to see if what I'm calling in is accurate. Maybe in case I called in like a fake thing, they can find me or whatever else. I just thought it was interesting because I've never noticed that before. I don't know if it's always done that, and I've just never noticed it on previous Samsungs. Maybe it's a new thing. If any of y'all happen to work for Samsung or the police and know why it did that, please let me know. But after about 2 hours, it went back to blocked callers because, you know, spam and all that crap. You block the numbers every time they come through. So it went back to blocked calls were blocked calls. And then it stopped doing the emergency location services. So I'm guessing after a certain time frame, it's perfectly okay, and they let you off the hook. I don't know, but it was one of those things. I wonder how many people passed that woman and either thought to themselves, not worth my time. Okay, number one. Number two, didn't even notice that she was there, which I think a lot of people don't notice, but I have a tendency to like watch everything. I call it being aware of my surroundings. My husband calls it being nosy. So I guess it's a little bit of both. Or like how many people saw her and was like, I don't have time for this shit, and just like kept going. Or if anybody else called it in, but the lady didn't say it had been called in yet. I feel like they would have said something if it had already been called in. So I think that maybe not. But this is one of those moments of what would you do? Like, out of curiosity, what would you have done? Is it, do you feel wrong calling the police every time you see something? You're like, all right, Karen, again, we're calling the cops. Or are you like, no, that's what they're there for. Call them, let them do the damn job. And if she's fine, she's fine. And if she's not, you save somebody, you know? I don't know. It was just the whole situation of it yesterday. I can understand now why I had such a reaction to it. Not because, you know, subconsciously, you probably pay attention. Don't do it. Look, if I let it to the forefront of my mind, it will F me up today. Golly, I did not even think about this. Whew. If you let certain things, oh, come on, you can do this. Do you think that subconsciously you recognize things and know things without being super conscious of what you recognize and what you know, or what you're doing, or what you're thinking, or how you're feeling, or how you're acting? Like, was yesterday subconsciously, because immediately my thought was, you know, my Nana. And then today, because subconsciously I'm like trying not to think about the date, it's like gonna mess me up. Do you think your body knows? And that's kind of why I feel like I've been in like fight or flight for the last couple days. Yeah. We're not doing it. It's fine. We're not doing it. Look, I don't do makeup, and I put on makeup today. We're not doing this. Whew, okay. So anyway, I'm kind of curious what you guys think and what you would have done. I didn't want to talk about politics today. As much as is going on around our country and around the world, everybody and their mom is talking about it. We could have talked Joe Biden. We could have talked all this other stuff in the auto pen. We could have talked Trump and Epstein. We could have talked Bondi and Bongino. I don't want to. I love y'all immensely, but I wanted to talk to you guys about this because it's real. It's happening. It could happen to every single one of us, your mom, your grandmother, you driving by, seeing it, those kind of things. So I wanted to just have a real ass conversation and then get your thoughts and opinions on what would you have done, and did I do the right thing or the wrong thing? Like, because there's some people out there who are going to tell me I should have minded my own business and not done anything, and other people will be like, no, you did the right thing. It's a weird situation, wondering if what you're doing is the right thing or the wrong thing sometimes. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to go now and try to, you know, block today out of my mind some more, now that I've consciously remembered exactly why I was subconsciously not thinking about today. So, Squirrel Tribe, I love y'all immensely. Have a fabulous rest of your day. Goodbye.